Tonight I was reminded of how people see me. I'm 30 and I work in a call center making $3K. For years I worked more hours making much less than this just to get by. I have my sights set on a job making $45K hopefully by next year. The last 10 years have not been easy. I've been abused, harassed, threatened, had my wages stolen by employers, generally treated like garbage, and have had 2 serious mental breakdowns from stress. One of the worst things I've experienced is constant gaslighting. Being told my life can't be that bad or because I'm not working a real job and someone somewhere has it worse. And, of course, the isolation is horrible. Most middle-class people want nothing to do with someone in their mid-20s who makes a low wage unless they're a student or an intern. I have been shamed and laughed at on dates for my job and mocked by exes' families. I began to lose friends the year I didn't go to college and everyone else did. At this point I have almost no one left except my family. Most of the time I try not to compare myself to other people. I've been suicidal for most of my life. I consider any day I'm able to meet all of my goals a good day. I consider the fact that I've been working full stop since I turned 19 an accomplishment. I don't act impulsively or have any addictions. I don't even like to have fun the way most people do and try to spend the majority of my time working towards long-term goals. Going from being essentially homeless to owning a newer used car and being able to pay all of my bills on time, if not early every month, is a big deal to me, and it took a long fucking time to get here. My therapist and my boss are both younger than me. I try not to let that bother me either. Today my boss and I were chatting. She made a comment about moving to Canada for health care. Our health care doesn't cover a medication that is both necessary for her and very expensive. She then followed up by saying she was joking and had hope for our state following a few progressive for us measures passing in the recent midterm. I said that I was glad that the minimum wage was finally being raised. She said that she didn't believe in raising the minimum wage because she thought that people who make that much don't believe in bettering their lives or want to be anything. The minimum, she said, should be little enough that people feel ashamed to work that job, and that the better people won't be able to tolerate the shame for more than a year before looking for a real job. People who work low-wage jobs do feel shame, though. Frequently, people kill themselves because they don't know a way out of poverty. I personally have the emotional and psychological scars to show that being poor has long-term effects and getting out of it is far from easy. I worked over 50 hours a week for over 4 years just to afford my rent. Then I lost my job and had to move back in with my parents. It took me 3 months to find a part-time job. 2 years to find a better part-time job that I could walk to. A year to get a beater car. 2 years to get a better beater car, though I didn't know it was a beater at the time. 2 more years to get a newer used car after the last one died. I didn't qualify for it by myself, so I had to purchase it with my brother. We have to wait a year to take him off the title so that he can get his own car. I slept on my mom's couch for 5 years. My best friend died of cancer while I worked my butt off for 800 months 3,000 miles away. I went to school when I could. I have a sleep disorder now and cry almost every day. I don't want to be alive, but I'm still here, at least for now. I try to remind myself that I've done the best I can and should be proud for that reason. I beat poverty. I did it by giving up almost everything most 20-somethings get to enjoy and working. I didn't party or date or get to have fun, even though I wanted to. When someone younger than me who has never worked a minimum wage job tells me that people like me are losers, it hurts. It sucks to remember that this is how most people think, even if they don't say it out loud. I've heard it before and I'll hear it again, and it will hurt every time. I'm not going to self-harm tonight, and I'm not going to cry all night either. I cried on my way home, and now I'm going to get myself a small Oreo McFlurry and watch something funny. I hope you don't judge people unless you've shared their experiences. And if you do, then I hope you at least have the decency to keep your thoughts to yourself. Edit. Wow, I can't believe my post blew up like this. I just want to say thank you to everyone who offered words of encouragement. I also want to thank the individuals who gilded me. I definitely thought I'd wake up to maybe 50 karma at most and didn't expect this much validation. I'm still reeling from it. I'm a little worried that my tone failed to convey a large part of what was on my mind last night in favor of emphasizing how hard I work towards success. While it's absolutely true that part of the reason I work my ass off is to eventually become successful, financially stable, happy, experienced at the things I choose to do like writing, what I really wanted to get across is that all human beings deserve dignity regardless of their station or ambitions. I truly believe that most of the toxic things we believe about lower-class people were planted and fostered by those who already have more wealth and power than most of us could ever dream of. It upsets me to see people who used to be at the very bottom work their way up to a place of some esteem, only to turn their backs on everyone like them. A large part of my current success, if you could call it that, is tireless hard work. I am many people's go-to person for knowledge and assistance. However, an even bigger part of it is luck. I happened into my current position from a job in retail making 9-hour. Not many people go from 9-hour to 15-hour in a matter of months, so in that respect I was incredibly fortunate. Without that good fortune I would still be destroying my body for less than a living wage, working 10 and 12-hour shifts on hard warehouse floors until I hurt too much to keep moving. I predict that my job will eventually become automated or outsourced. There are lots of people where I work who are older and were displaced from their careers by ageism. This is why we need a livable minimum wage and, eventually, a solution to automation in the form of a basic income. I hear people complain all the time that I didn't get X, so neither should anyone else. This way of thinking is counterintuitive and counterproductive to our advancement as a society. It's also killing people. Yes, actually killing them. Shout out to all the incredible people chasing their dreams despite wage slavery and class oppression. The only way for us to beat the mentality that there should be a timeline on our success and happiness is to defy it as often as possible. Start college at 40. Write a book at 50. And when people say ignorant shit, feel sorry for them. They're limiting their own growth by projecting timelines onto themselves and others, and you don't need to subject yourself to that or take any part in it. Cheers. Response 1.
I don't think you're a loser. I would care more about someone's personality and character than I do about their career. I respect the hustle too.
The real losers are the ones who look down on others and can't empathize with their fellow humans.
How did this idea or perception of needing to feel ashamed of one's income before making a step higher up become so ingrained in U.S. business culture?
IDK if it's tied with the idea about personal responsibility that some ideologies promote. The idea that if you are valuable you will be paid as such, and if you aren't, then it's your job to make yourself more valuable and gain the required skills to be paid more. It's probably difficult for people inculcated like this all of their lives to see someone in the muck and not think, I did it, why can't they? I chose to work hard and leave my circumstances and now they are different. Why won't they just work harder? I have to believe the view is a little more nuanced than that, but in general it lacks sensitivity regarding the impact of situational factors as well as other personal factors that may influence someone's success or the capacity for them to succeed.
Response 2.
I don't want to invalidate you, but this is not how most people feel and I don't know where you got this idea from. Our age group, 1835, are notorious for having trouble finding jobs. Our generation is living at home into our 30s now because we can't afford to rent or buy homes. I suffer from depression too, and I know that it can make my feelings and view of things a lot worse. Try to ignore people like your boss. The world is filled with a lot of kind people.
Just validating that it's not how most people feel, and you're far from being the only one in this situation. Internet hue to both of you. Keep it strong, it will get better.
Thanks buddy. Less than 3.
Response 3.
What your boss said was so fucked up. She should be grateful that there are people willing to do those minimum wage jobs because a lot of companies and industries relies on these type of people to function. If it weren't for people like you, she wouldn't have a place to manage. Plus you should look for ways to make a side income, cause what you're making right now is really little, and increasing your streams of income will help you build your wealth.
Are they really willing to work them? Or is it that they just have no choice?
You say tomato, I say wage slave.
Many minimum wage jobs, especially retail and fast food, want your entire life and dedication to a greater degree than most professional careers, but don't want to pay enough to survive, a living wage. It really is wage slavery if you are trading your entire life for not even enough in return to live off of.
Response 4.
Don't ever feel bad because you do a low-paid job. People want call center assistants and they want to drink in bars and stay in hotels, but they don't want you to get paid well for doing these things and then act like they are better than you. These people are assholes. The best way to stick it to them is a life well lived. I wish you every success.
Yeah, this is the thing that pisses me off the most about these kinds of people. They rely on minimum wage people for their lifestyle and then look down on them at the same time. If all the minimum wage people quit one day, they'd have nothing to do with all their money and smug superiority.
Response 5.
The very predictable advice at the top of this thread, learn to code, is a fucking meme at this point. Individual solutions to systemic problems get us nowhere.
I love your username. Also, good point.
Response 6.
If this interests you, you can learn how to code off of YouTube videos. Not even joking. You can learn everything you need from them. Learn HTML first. Then CSS. Then Bootstrap. Then JavaScript. Then jQuery. Do it for 600 hours and then go apply for a job at 60k 80k. While working learn done newer technologies like React, Vue or Angular. Within 5 years of coding you can easily make 100k. It sounds hard but it isn't. You just have to be dedicated. The more you learn the easier it gets. And learning a computer language isn't like learning a speaking language. You don't need to learn hundreds thousands of terms. Just a few dozen. And you reuse them over and over. If you like problem solving, working with computers, and like to create, you should go for it. If be happy to steer you in the right direction.
Hey there. Thanks for the tip, smiley face. I've been studying for the A+ this year. I know a lot of what's in it is old, but most help desks around here require it. Then I plan on getting hired on my current company's IT help desk. Need my brother to get his own car first. It was definitely overwhelming AF when I started, but the more I keep at it, the more it makes sense. If you have any more advice, I'd love to hear it. I do have strong problem-solving skills and enjoy being challenged. Feel free to shoot me a PM.
By the way, you are not a loser. You are far from a loser. A loser is someone who doesn't even try. Not only are you trying, you are trying hard. You are in a tough spot and you are doing your best to figure it out. That's how winners are made. It doesn't come easy. It takes blood, sweat, and tears. If you have had those and you are still pushing for a better life, you will get it. Keep trying. I'm rooting for you. I believe you can do it. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it.
This. You are setting goals and working hard to achieve them. You're a fucking winner.
Response 7.
Thanks for sharing, it's well written.
Response 8.
A bit odd. She thinks low wages will motivate people and it is lost on her that could also apply to her lousy benefits. What a tool.
Tools survey a purpose. These biopic middle-class pricks rarely do anything that useful.
Response 9.
I have a suggested change for your title. Today I was reminded how one specific person sees me, and why I shouldn't care. You aren't a loser. I know it isn't worth much for an internet stranger to say this, but you must love yourself and know what you're worth. Hint, it's not in how much money you make. You are not a loser. Keep on fighting, and you will win. God bless, friend.
This needs to be higher up.
Response 10.
Ignore those assholes. It's a failure of society that someone with any full-time job doesn't make enough to live on. It shouldn't matter if you have a glorious white-collar job or a menial blue-collar job. Work is work. We're each contributing to the economy, paying taxes. Minimum wage should be enough to live on, and certainly should be nothing to be ashamed of. I'm sorry that you've met people who think incorrectly, but they are knobheads. There are plenty of people who don't look down on minimum wage workers, myself included.
Response 11.
I'm proud of you, smiley face.